Hey guys, welcome to an episode of Ask Dr. Granite. Today I have Mia here, that's my daughter, and she's going to ask me some questions, and I thought I would share this with you guys. You ready? Here you go.
How do you stop eating sugar when you can't help yourself?
That's a great question. So, to answer that question, I think I want to ask you, do you remember when you really were eating a lot of sugar? Mm-hmm. And what did we do with you?
You forced me a lot.
Yeah, okay, hold on, let me answer that. Yes, so the thing not to do to stop, help somebody stop eating sugar is to try and force them or to try and force yourself, because that doesn't work, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and so what did work? Forcing doesn't work, so what did work?
Well, I got to choose, and then we went to the store, and you, how do I explain this? We went to the store, and you showed me how to read labels of sugar, and
right.
I just said
so
that's
I educated
too
you.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, that was, yeah, so I think the best thing to do to help somebody stop eating sugar, first of all, is to educate someone. And what I did with you is, whenever you ate sugar and then you didn't feel good, I made sure to tell you that, look, you had some sugar or you had some junk, and you're like, oh, I'm not feeling good. I said, well, it's because of the sugar. And then we also went to the store, and I showed you how to read labels, and then you were really surprised. I showed you that 1 teaspoon of sugar is how many grams? Do you remember? 4 grams of sugar. And then you were like, whoa, Dad, like this little thing, I remember where they like little desserts, whatever, healthy snacks, they would have like 8 or 9 teaspoons of sugar. And you were really surprised about that, right? Because they were supposed to be really healthy, right? Mm-hmm. And so the main thing is, especially for kids, I think, is to show them how they feel after they eat some junky food, and make sure to let them know that if they're not feeling good, that this is why. And also, teaching someone to read labels is really important. And for somebody who's a little bit older, besides just education, because that mechanism that controls sugar, you can't just say, I'm not going to eat sugar when you have these cravings, is to make sure that your blood sugar is in check by checking your blood, making sure you get a proper blood test. And if it's not in the right amount, then you would need to take certain kinds of supplements to help that, and make sure that you slowly start to introduce healthy fats and protein, and take away things like junky foods and sugar and candies and bread and muffins and cookies and all that other stuff that doesn't make you feel good. Does that answer that question? Mm-hmm. Okay. Here you go. What's your next question?
Why do you get a sugar rush and a sugar crash when you eat junk food?
That's a really good question. Do you know what a sugar crash is? Or sorry, let's start with a sugar rush. What's a sugar rush?
When you start like flipping and jumping and moving and like
yeah,
crazy.
You start going crazy, right? Mm-hmm. And then what is a sugar crash?
When you start to get tired and fall asleep.
When you start to get tired and fall asleep, right? So that I think a lot of people have experienced that. So when we're not feeling too good, what we do is we go and eat a bunch of sweets, and then we get all this energy, and then all of a sudden in an hour or so, we feel like we need to take a nap, right? Mm-hmm. So why do you think that happens? Do you know? No. So let me explain. So our body is very careful at how it controls sugar, and it's like a thermostat. Do you know what a thermostat is?
No.
So, do you know the thing that...
Yes, I do. It's the thing that you turn up air and turn down.
Right. It's the thing in your house that controls heat and controls cold, right? Mm-hmm. So the body has kind of like a thermostat for sugar, and it likes to keep a certain temperature, right? It likes to keep a certain level. And if that level goes too high, because you just put in a bunch of candies into your body or a bunch of other junk, then all of a sudden that level goes too high, and we get a little crazy and start jumping around and flipping around, right? And then what happens is the body's like, whoa, that is way too high. And what it starts to do is it starts to try and bring that sugar down. And it has to turn on all these other things to try and bring that sugar down. But when that sugar comes down, it goes down way too low. So it's like the temperature cannot be in the level that's comfortable. And so all of a sudden it goes really low. And then you start feeling really tired. Kind of like you're doing right now. Kind of like when you're yawning right now. What did you just have for lunch?
Soup and rice.
Soup and rice, white rice, right? Well, white rice turns into kind of like sugar inside your body, and so all of a sudden you're going to start yawning afterwards, right? Because your body doesn't like too much sugar. So basically, why do you get a sugar rush is because you have too much sugar. And why do you get a sugar crash? Well, because you have too much sugar and the body can't control the levels. The body only likes when you give it things that it can turn into sugar, like fish or chicken or vegetables, and then it can decide how much sugar it wants to turn, how much of that stuff it wants to turn into sugar, and then it uses as much as it wants. But if you just put too much sugar into your body, then it can't control it, and then you get the rush and then the crash. Does that answer the question? Good. Next question. Here you go.
Why do you get a virus?
Whoa. Switching speed. Why do you get a virus? So from sugar to virus, huh? Okay, so why do you get a virus? So I think the reason why you get a virus, that's a good question, by the way. The reason why you get a virus is when your immune system, do you know what the immune system is?
Yes, it's something that's inside your body that kills all bad germs.
It's something inside your body that kills all bad germs. That's right. And the reason why your immune system, so if your immune system is not working, then the virus, which is the germ, can come into your body and cause you to get sick, right? And some of the reasons the immune system is not working is because somebody's not taking care of their body, right? Like they're not getting enough sleep, or they have a lot of stress, or they are eating the wrong kinds of food, right? Didn't they teach you something at school about stress and stuff? Remember you were telling me something about if you, don't you remember at Healthy Minds? What did they teach you about that? Do you remember?
Really, I don't think they actually taught me about.
Well, remember you were just saying that if you get enough sleep and if
That's in my gratitude book.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was your gratitude book. Oh, so what does it say in your gratitude book? I apologize.
Less stress leads to better sleep, fewer diseases, and a longer life.
That's awesome. I love that. Good job. Okay, so that was so that's why you get a virus. If your immune system doesn't work properly because you're not taking care of your body, that's why you get a virus. So it all goes back to eating too much junk, not getting enough sleep, and having too much stress, like you just said, right? Okay, next question.
How do you know when you're not taking care of your body?
Okay. How do you know what do you think? How do you know when you're not taking care of your body? Because it's a really good question, because most people are like, what do you mean, how do you know when you're not taking care of your body? Well, most people don't pay attention to some of the symptoms that their body, and do you know what a symptom is? It's a certain feeling that your body gives you when something is not going right. Right? And so most people don't pay attention to these signs that the body is giving them, like, for example, when their energy is low all the time, or they get a lot of sleep but they still wake up tired, or they get these cravings, like they need to eat some junk food or some sweets and things like that, or they're getting kind of like allergies or rashes on their skin,
Like I do.
like you do when you eat the wrong kinds of food, right? Or if they're gaining weight, no matter what.
They lose weight.
Well, yeah, I know, but I think you're still too young. I'm talking about a little bit of the older people. Some people gain weight even though they started eating healthy and they're still gaining weight. That's another sign that they haven't taken care of their body. And so those are some of the signs and symptoms. And so it's important to point out to people that when they eat something that they may feel a certain way, but because most people don't connect the fact that the wrong kinds of foods can make them feel lousy, right? And the right kinds of foods can make them feel good. And so paying attention to your energy, is really important. Paying attention to how your digestion works is really important. Any kinds of headaches that you're getting. So those are some of the signs and symptoms that you're not taking care of your body. And if you keep doing that for a long period of time, then you can get sick. Right? Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
How does your brain control your body?
Okay, that's a really good question. Want to see? Watch.
Ow!
What happened?
I was about to not say that.
What happened? What did I just do?
Pinched me, and my brain told me to move my arm. Well, I didn't move my arm.
Okay, that's right. So your brain, right, which sits inside your head, has to send a message somewhere, right? And it does that through these things called nerves. They're like these little wires.
Yeah, but what if you don't do it?
What if I don't do what?
Well, when the brain sends you a message and you don't do it.
Well, if you don't do it, then it's just gonna hurt like this, right? I'm sorry. I just wanted to show the people what happens. So if you don't do it, you don't have to do it, but sometimes your brain will make you do it. You can't, like when you come next to something that's hot, you can't help but move your hand. And it's because your brain just sent a message down something called a nerve. And that's like a little wire where the message goes through and goes to the part of the body, and it tells that part of the body what to do. So the nervous system, which is a bunch of these little wires called nerves, is the way the brain controls your body. So, do you have any more questions?
No.
No more questions. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And if you guys have any comments or any questions, please leave them below and I'll make sure to answer them. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.